inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Yeah, good afternoon, listener. This is Leadership Podcast Studio. Welcome to the newspaper review segments of Inside Nigeria. This is our maiden edition today. With me in the studio is Silas Ezegu. Silas?
Yeah, you're welcome.
And Muyiwa Onyilola.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Yeah, we're going to start with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. The lead story on The Leadership today is Nigeria moves to tackle terrorists with robots. Nigeria moves to tackle terrorists with robots. Silas, artificial intelligence and robotic technology is not new. Is Nigeria just waking up?
Well, we could say that, but it's even if we're waking up just now, it's a good time to start, not to wait longer. We need to go there now because technology affords us a lot of advantage over the terrorists. The terrorists are many and they're everywhere. Bandits, terrorists, kidnappers everywhere. We have a large space. I don't seem to have enough, personnel to cover all the ground. So this resort to technology and robots, artificial intelligence is something I just beginning to hear the government talk about, and coming on stream now is good.
Now, Miwa, do you agree?
Certainly. It's high time we went the way of technology. You look at the way we have been tackling this issue over time. We have not really succeeded. We have not really had an edge over the bandits and all form of terrorism in this country. I think with this, we'll go a long way at overcoming our challenges along the other.
But before now, there have been, argument as to whether we should employ the services of mercenaries or not. But now, robotic technology to the rescue. We still need mercenaries to help us.
You see, you can have a combination of support systems to the security agencies. In fact, everything that can come on board to help us to contain this mountain, threat to Nigeria's existence. Terrorism, banditry, all those things, that is essential threats to Nigeria. And if you can bring all of them on board, no problem. But the issue is that the government doesn't seem to like the idea of bringing in people. They want to have faith in the military, and they'll try their best.
Maybe for national security.
Yes, for national security and for even pride that we can deal with our problems ourselves. But the issue is that over the years, we have had a depleted security, manpower, and technology will help to bridge the gap.
Okay.
It will give us a trump card over the enemy.
I hope so. Now, there are 4 interesting riders to this lead story.
Okay.
First one is 2 soldiers slain in Enugu community. Army fingers Eastern Security Network.
Yes.
Bandit kills 6, abduct 5 in 3 states. Then Senator Shegumi is coming up again in the news. He says, use of excessive force aggravating banditry. And the last one, those living with bandits risk airstrike. That is from the Nigerian Air Force.
Yes, they say the one in Enugu, it's in Adani, it's one rice community in Adani, and the story says soldiers, repaired an attack on the community by ESN, and that in the process, 2 of them paid the supreme price. Those are heroes, serving the country with their lives, and then Army actually just said that Eastern Security Network and the militia wing of IPOB, and I know that the military will respond adequately. Okay.
Now, let me go to you, Miwa.
But it's sad. It shows that IPOD is not yet dead. The rest of Kano has not, completely, removed the threat of IPOB or ASN from the national space. So they need to continue to dig to remove all these threats to nations, the national security coming from IPOB and other terrorist groups, or and so on and so forth.
All right. Muiwa, popular Kaduna-based Islamic cleric Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Gumi was in the news yesterday. He said use of excessive force aggravating banditry. Do you agree with that?
I do not. In fact, I am always concerned about the kind of utterance that Sheikh Gumi makes on this particular issue of banditry. And I wonder why the government has not even taken an action against him. Because it seems to be on the way of bandits, I mean, on the side of bandits, seems to be
Their spokesperson.
yes, like their spokesperson knows so much about them, condoning them, and saying that government should even patronize them at the expense of the lives of Nigerians. Saying that there's no kind of force or anything you use against banditry that is too much. I don't agree with it.
All right. Now, the last rider is a rebuttal or a rejoinder from the Nigerian Air Force saying those living with bandits risk airstrike. And what led to this was, I hope all of you recall that about 3 days ago, there was bombardment of bandits in Zamfara forest. Now, later, there was allegation that a woman and some of her family members were killed in the airstrike. But the Nigerian Air Force is saying, no, anybody killed in that airstrike must be party to banditry.
It does not. I appreciate the work the Air Force is doing because they are helping the ground troops a lot, But I do not completely agree that everybody living in that environment, is in bed with bandits. Bandits can actually even abduct people and keep them as human shield, and not just throw bomb on all of them and kill them. So it is. We don't know exactly what happened on the ground, but we also need to hear from them what really happened. There's this thing about security. It said it's better, to allow 100 criminals to run away than to kill one person, innocent person trying to kill them. That's why even when as a hostage taking, the authorities try as much as possible to avoid or limit human, casualties of innocent people. And that's why they could even allow the bad guys to run away, knowing that they'll catch up with them in future. So I think we need to learn exactly what happened on the ground. But it's not good to just throw bombs all over the place like that. Bombs don't know who is guilty or not. And some of those people may be innocent people who are trapped with the bandits.
Well, be it as it may, do the Nigerian Armed Forces need to review their rules of engagement in the ongoing internal security operations they are involved in?
Certainly. There's no strategy that is cast in stone. There's no strategy that cannot be improved upon. And the recent developments have shown that they are not really winning. They are not winning. The minister came up the other time and said that they've been technically, defeated. But you find out
that was a long time ago.
Yes.
But I'm not saying that now.
Yes, because they know that they got the good. There's no measure that the army takes, to resolve this that is too much. I think, that's it.
Now, let's look at the story below the masthead of leadership. Below the masthead, federal government okays 309 billion naira road contract tax credit for Dangote. Federal government okays 309 billion naira road contract tax credit for Dangote. We all know Dangote.
Yes, of course. The richest man in Africa. And one of Nigeria's top industrialists.
Exactly.
I know this story is interesting. Government is trying. This government has always said it wants to expand infrastructure in the country, and it's been limited by paucity of funds. In fact, for a long time, they've been blaming the former government of wasting resources they should have used for development, and now they want to do it. They don't have enough resources, and that's why they're going to a lot of borrowing from China, from everywhere. And then they now come up with this idea of instead of paying us tax, send this money, use this money to build roads for us. And it's a good idea. It's a kind of quid pro quo, or something like trade by barter kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But this one, instead of paying us this tax, use it to build the road.
Exactly.
So it's a good idea.
Very innovative.
But the plus side of it is that if the tax is paid to government, this money may not go into road again, or some smart guys there can even move the money into their own pockets. But once this money is tied to this project, this tax, you know that this road is going to deliver because it's from the private sector. And can also assure standard because government will not take anything less from them.
Yeah, the road contract covers about 5 roads, totaling or spanning about 274.9 kilometers in different locations where Dangote has business interest. What's your take?
Yes, I think it's a welcome development, but it's not novel. This is not the first time Dangote is giving tax waiver for something like this.
No. Is this a waiver? This is not a waiver.
Credit.
It's a tax credit.
It's tax credit. But I think it's the same thing that they did, that they gave them to construct Abajana
Yes.
Exactly.
Abadan,
the same thing in the Bejuleki, where he's having his
Bejuleki.
addiction
So
refinery.
it's not novel, it's not new. But I think while this one is commendable, it's perhaps because, just like my co-panelist said, that if the money had been paid into government coffers, who knows, the money may not be used for what it is expected to be done with it. And government must also have been satisfied with the quality of job that Dangote did for them to have been given this kind of, credit.
Yes.
So I think it's a welcome development.
So when I say it is the tax credit thing is innovative, I'm right. It's very, very innovative
Certainly.
policy. All right, let's go to the other stories on the front page of Leadership newspaper today. PIB governors query proposed ownership structure of NNPC. PIB, Petroleum Industry Bill, governors query proposed ownership structure of NNPC. Silas, why do you think governors should be crying like babies over ownership structure of NNPC?
Well, this PIB has been a very contentious issue from every quarter. Host communities are complaining, other areas over different issues. But coming from governors now, I think the governors are worried that initially this NNPC used to be a national asset for all the tiers of government,
Yes.
federal, state, and local, all the states. But from this reading of the new PIB, the PIB, it means possibly that this with the unbundling and co,
Yes.
it will become an issue of the federal government alone. And I'm not comfortable about it because it will also affect the amount of resources they can get from Nigeria's cash cow. That's our money. We don't say run a money economy or kind of all our money, all our income comes, most of it comes from this. So if it becomes a federal government issue, they will not be getting much for their own development. So they are worried, and I expect them to take it up. Maybe lobby the National Assembly as the president to sign it in this form and bring proposals, amendments to it, and so that it will benefit everybody that's supposed to benefit from it.
Now, COVID-19, Unilag shutdown begins virtual lectures. COVID-19, Unilag shuts down, begins virtual lectures. We have another problem on our hand with discovery of a new variant of COVID-19 called Delta. Now Unilag has shut down.
In fact, the Lagos State governor during the week
raised the first alarm.
Yes, that we have to be careful and we have to be watchful. Everybody has to be on guard against the third wave of COVID-19. And Unilag is in Lagos State, and it's also a student community. People go in there and come out. You can imagine the kind of magnitude of its effect on the society. So I think it's a welcome development. It's just what they're trying to do is to ensure that it's tackled, it's nipped in the bud. It's contained before it spread to the general society. I think there was a case that somebody was detected to have contracted it in that community.
Exactly.
I think that was that case. That was why they did that. Yes. And I think it's a good development.
Thank God for technology now. You can do lectures virtually.
In fact, most things are now being done virtually now. Most lectures, meetings, and all kinds of things are done virtually.
So do we now say thanks to COVID-19 outbreak?
Well,
because there's a new normal.
The world was really gravitating towards virtual stuff. But this COVID-19 seemed to have pushed it even further.
No, from every bad thing, something good comes out.
Yes, of course.
Well, another interesting story on the front page of Leadership today is audit report. 59 ministries, departments, and agencies of government to refund 300 billion naira. This is a verdict of the Senate yesterday. It was discovered that 59 MDAs have between 2013 and 2015 misappropriated 300 billion naira, and the Senate now is asking them to refund the money within 60 days.
Wait. What was the Senate doing in the first place to allow them to steal this money? They're supposed to be oversighting these agencies, and they're not doing it. If you stay there and they take the money away, and every year you're doing their budget, you're not checking them. What are they doing?
So it's the oversighting of the Senate that has led to the discovery of this.
But I would say that even if they were doing it, if they were following them bumper to bumper, they will not have this chance to steal this kind of money before they start probing them.
Well, the Auditor General is there of the Federation.
Yes, but their work is oversight. They check their budget, their income, all these things come to them. They're supposed to come to me every year. But anyway, it's good that they have found out this things.
Exactly.
They should also follow truth. See, with the community TSA, it was bad business for government agents because some of the money they normally make that should go to government coffers normally disappear in their pockets. You see one agency having 200 accounts, the money disappear. After some time, people forget that this money was lodged in those accounts. And those guys who were the executive there just take the money and keep it. So, but TSA has forced many of them to move the money to go. But the guys are very smart. Government officials, civil servants, and all these people that are very, very smart. They know how to move things. So they should follow them through and make sure that this money returns to the coffer. It's not just all that. If they have erred, they should bring those who erred among them and punish them.
Make them to face the law.
Yes, to serve as deterrent to others.
Yeah.
But if you just allow them to go, bring the money and go, other people will try their luck.
Meanwhile, I have a concern. You see, these 59 MDAs indicted to have misappropriated 300 billion naira actually happened between 2013 and 2015. So who knows what had happened between 2015 and to date?
Let them start.
Why has corruption remained endemic?
Let them start from somewhere.
Exactly.
And let's hope that we will be able to get to the end of the corruption that we have in this country. Let them start from somewhere. But it's also worrisome, like you said, that what they're probing is, because this Senate was not, this National Assembly was not on board as at that time.
Exactly, but it's their work.
But let them start from somewhere.
Exactly.
I think it's high time we also commend this government, in its anti-corruption drive. It may not have got it right. It may not have done so much as it promised, but I think it's working. The system is working one way or the other. This happened in the past. Somebody else will come again and see what is happening right now. And who knows, before they even finish their tenure, they may also uncover whatever has not been done right.
Yeah, the last story on the leadership today we're going to look at is a story that concerns all of us and the society in general, beyond the media profession, the society in general. Media bill not suspended, says Reps Committee. Media bill not suspended, says Reps Committee. I don't know why the House of Representatives is adamant on sponsoring draconian legislations against the media industry in Nigeria. Why do you think the House is doing this?
It is unfortunate that those who are supposed to speak for the people are taking this course, because this government was in a position, and the media, they use the media extensively, gave them their support to hold the people to account, and that helped them to come to power. And now they're bringing up all kinds of bills to gag the press. They should remember that they won't be there forever. If by fate they become opposition in the future, are they going to like a media that cannot allow them to talk the way they spoke? So I think they should be careful. They should be careful about this bill, because this bill is not just about media, it's about governance, about the people, and they should not be seen to be anti-people. They should put away from what's happening around the world, in Africa, in Ghana, and other countries where democracy is practiced. Democracy is about openness, transparency, and this government came on the mantra of change, of openness, of transparency, anti-corruption. Why don't you want us to talk about it? So I'm happy to say that the media has extensively engaged the public by opening the public eye to what the National Assembly is trying to do. Politicians want to do something bad and they want the world to know about it. It's not done anywhere. They should learn that openness is the watchword for democracy. Otherwise, the gains we made, over the years to entrench democracy, they roll it back to the dark days, and it's not good.
Now, for want of time,
yes, of course.
Yeah, for want of time, we're going to look at the rider of the story. Muiwa. The National Assembly, as we speak now, is considering the report on the Electoral Act 2010 Amendment Bill 2021, and eventually it is expected that both chambers of the National Assembly will today pass the electoral bill into law before they proceed on their Salah break. Before we enter the studio, there were reports about commotion around this session in both chambers of the National Assembly. In the House of Rep, it was about the PIB, while in the Senate, it was about the electoral bill. Now, the bone of contention is a contentious clause that says INEC can transmit election results electronically, but some members of the parliament are actually against that, citing some flimsy excuses. We don't know what will be the outcome of their deliberation as we speak, but what is your take?
Yes, before we enter the studio, I checked through my WhatsApp group, the way I belong to, where they discuss politics. And from what I gathered, even Senator Oji Uzokalu was opposed to it.
Exactly.
Saying that because they don't have network in his village. And some
So how are they writing jam in his village?
Yes.
How are they doing money?
Yes, some lawmakers from Southwest also said
We're
we're also opposed to it. It's very, 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 very nauseating that we want to roll back the gains we have made in the last few years. You know, how can you say at this age we will not transmit results electronically? But they know what they are doing.
Yes.
Because as long as we still depend on manual transmission between the polling unit to the collation center, anything could have happened.
Exactly.
They change results.
Exactly.
You know,
Is that talking? They know how to do it.
Yes. But if it's done electronically, like it's been done lately, you know, we've been
I think
doing
I've tried it in Edo.
Yes.
Oshun also.
Yes.
Ondo.
And Edo State.
Exactly.
Yes, we've done it. We applaud it. Nigerians welcome it. Politicians, everybody wants it.
It will reduce litigations. It will reduce the insecurity that come with elections.
Exactly.
A lot of people lose their life trying to carry those documents from one point to the other. And it will also reduce thuggery. You understand? A lot of money politics. I don't know why they are so much.
Unfortunately for them.
And INEC is ready.
Of course.
Let's say they want to do it.
Of course, to sanitize the electoral system.
Unfortunately for those who are opposed to it, because they think they have so much to gain, they have a lot to lose. Because we will be retrogressing politically. At the end of the day, nobody will enjoy democracy any longer. Thuggery will increase. People will now say, okay, let's go back to
insecurity.
There'll be much insecurity.
Electoral violence.
In fact, it will make more people to be more desperate for self-determination.
It's so
if they cannot trust that their votes count.
Yes. Yes.
Some of them say we don't want to belong to this kind of system. And many other Igbohos and Kano will arrive from some other places. But and we don't want that.
And again,
so let them allow Nigerians to have their way about who rules them. They are trying to shut down the electoral space for people.
When we started this democratic journey in 1999, there was apathy to voting. People will not come out to vote because they believe that their votes will not count. But since next started electronic transmission of results, people started having confidence in the system. So, now let me go and vote. When I vote, my vote will count. You know.
But this thing will actually set Nigeria back.
Let's see what let's see.
They should not go that way.
Apart from security and the rest, we are not talking about rigging. Maybe for me, anybody that is opposed to electronic transmission of election results from polling unit right to the central server might be planning to rig election. Because this is about transparency, electoral transparency.
But of course, apart from PDP CSOs, every Nigerian knows that is one sure way to know how they want to vote. But if they're saying they don't want it, it means they don't want free and fair.
No,
and it's also ironic that a parliament that prides itself as people's parliament is always against wishes of the people. Like we have seen about the controversial media bills and this electronic voting of it.
Somebody who used to be in one of the assemblies, one of the national assemblies, one of the houses of national assemblies, said that when he got there for the first time, he was so shocked that everything they were discussing was not about about the people. It's about how they can manage the system to benefit themselves and their interests. Yeah. That's what it was like shocked. What's happening? We're not talking about the people who brought us here, just about how to benefit from the system. And you don't get there, but he gave it, in an interview and said it was shocked.
But I can be very sure that they won't have the last laugh.
Well, time shall tell. That will be all for the Nigerian most influential newspaper. Let's go on to Nigerian Tribune of today. Nigerian Tribune. The lead story on Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria needs $100 billion yearly for 30 years to close infrastructure deficit, according to African Development Bank. Wow. Nigeria needs $100 billion yearly for 30 years to close infrastructure deficit, according to the president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina. Now, what is your take, Silas?
Wow, I don't know the studies they did to.
It underscores the state of our infrastructure.
Yes, but I don't know the studies they did to come out with this figure. But this figure is actually In fact,
for 30 years.
100 billion
For dollars.
not naira.
For 30 years.
Wow.
To bridge infrastructure.
He's saying that we cannot get there because I don't know how much Nigeria is making in income in a year, whether it is even this much, and this is just for infrastructure, not just other things. And then, from report I saw in other people, we are using 72% of our income now to service debt. We are even borrowing money already to do the infrastructure we are doing. So it's like saying that we cannot get there. That's what they're saying. Unless Nigeria begins to become honest to the system and expand our income. So this government came and said they want to diversify. In fact, in 1999, the government will say want to diversify, we need to get money from other sources, not just oil. That's the only way we can do agriculture, solid minerals, and other areas that can bring us money, even technology. But all the people have come, all the governments have come, have always just started going to oil alone. And oil cannot give us this kind of money.
Exactly.
So the government needs to be
diversify the economy,
create wealth. Create wealth.
Why
can get kind of money to develop, and we need infrastructure so to develop the country, to make more business. So this figure is mind-boggling, and I'm sure that most Nigerians will be checking it.
The figure is mind-boggling. Meanwhile, Salah is saying this figure is a tall order, but Adesina actually gave an option that we should explore PPP, that's a public-private partnership, in order to achieve this. For example, we discussed earlier the tax credit policy, granted to Dangote to build some road as tax credits. PPA, something like that, can it take us somewhere?
But this figure is, just like he said, is mind-boggling. it's humongous. And, looking at the way we run our system, I see even if this kind of money is provided for, which is not possible, is going to end up in the pockets of some people. We are a very, very insincere country. And we are being led by people that are not sincere with themselves and with the country. And you also look at inflation. 100 billion yearly in 30 years. Inflation will come within 30 years. You know how many, you know what the figure of inflation will be like. It's not going to remain like this. But just like you mentioned, exploring this option and that option.
PPP.
Yes, beautiful. All we need is to be sincere with ourselves and with what we are doing.
To be prudent with what we have.
Yes, to be prudent.
And if we continue to run such a corrupt system with full governance structure we run right now, we are not going to get there. And we need a government that is ready to make sacrifices. We are still spending even those who are taking on overheads. Allowances, salaries,
I was going to say that.
And a lot of white elephants.
Exactly, I was going to say that.
Do you know how many abandoned projects that are wasting Nigeria that could have contributed to our development that are abandoned because some people's interests are not covered?
I was going to say that.
We can't continue that. We need a new thinking.
Exactly.
And the people that are there now are not thinking the direction that Nigeria should go. We need a new thinking. Those who want to compete with the world, we are not competing. I was surprised to hear the other day that Misa was joyous that Nigeria was producing toothpick. When people are producing, people are going to space. We are still about producing toothpick, pencil.
You see, Silas, for me, this is about priority, getting our priorities right. We have annual budget, but does this budget actually achieve what they are meant to achieve on a yearly basis? We make budgets year in, year out, but do we achieve our aim with the budget? For example, I have an argument I've maintained over the years that we use our budget to service the lifestyle of political office holders only. For example, you have a over 13 trillion naira budget, and less than 30% of that budget is for capital projects. So how do you bridge infrastructure deficit when you don't develop infrastructure? You don't do capital project. All you do is to service the lifestyle of your political office holders. With corruption, again, after all, it will look like a tall order. Let's go down. Another story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune today is DSS raid on DSS raid on Sunday Igboho's residence is unconstitutional. We don't know who's saying that. Then the next one is Super TV CEO. Police establish conspiracy, arrest more suspects. Super TV CEO. Police establish conspiracy, arrest more suspects. This is about the now popular or notorious Chidinma, the Unilag student who is accused of killing the Super TV CEO Ataga. Now, the next story is 8th Senate held security summit. Saraki replies Buhari. 8th Senate held security summit. Saraki replies Buhari. Now, I don't know why this should be about, attack and counter attack. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, President Buhari actually accused the 8th Senate of not helping in overcoming the Nigerian insecurity challenge. But the president of the 8th Senate, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, replied saying, during our time, we organized a security summit and we forwarded the resolutions to you. Nothing has happened since then.
Yes, we remember how fractious the relationship between the Senate, especially, and the presidency was during the election. We know how Saraki emerged against the wishes of the party, and they had a dog affair, a cat and mouse affair throughout the tenure of the Senate president. In fact, it was on trial for many counts, from CCT to the courts, and so on and so forth. So I remember actually that they had a security summit.
Yes.
And then for the president to say they didn't have or help, that was maybe he forgot. But they do have, and because it was possibly coming from the camp they didn't quite like, they might have ignored that security. I know they had that security summit, going by the Senate.
Now, down the list story, let's go down the list story of this day. Nigeria orders mobilize for early warning system against terrorism. Nigeria orders mobilize against early warning system against terrorism. How do we get the red flags ahead of these happenings?
Yes, that's why we spoke about the use of technology in the first place, and they also need our security agencies, our intelligence agencies to up and doing. They need to give them the best gadgets available so they can warn. These people are everywhere. They are places where you do not know, so you can only track them by using technology and the more cutting edge technology to monitor what they're doing and able to counter them. And it's not something you do manually, and that's why, because we have they call it asymmetrical warfare that is going on, and the way to go to check them is to use technology. And this if they can get this, but somebody said something important recently. I think the DSS. I think DSS said recently that most of the attacks that happen in schools, that the governments were warned ahead of time.
But no action was taken.
But the governments are officially the chief secretary of some of the states. They don't control the security agencies. And I remember a case of Enugu State government complaining how we tried to get the army, the military, to respond to an intelligence report that a community in state was going to be attacked, and they did not respond until community people were killed. Attacked. So that's why a lot of people are talking about devolution of powers, so that the governments can have their own security and deploy. But this if Nigeria can get it right to get everyone's system, it can also give the security agencies enough time to mobilize to confront whatever security challenge is coming.
Yeah. Finally, Muyiwa, can we actually mobilize against for early warning system? Against the backdrop of actionable intelligence are given, but they were not acted upon, and interagency rivalry among security agencies.
That is you can mobilize, but there is need for collaboration and cooperation among synergy among the agencies that are supposed to fight terrorism, and much more so. Communities should also come up to identify people that are perpetrating such among them. And for them to do that, they should have confidence in the system, in the military, in federal government, in all the agencies that are fighting terrorism, to be sure that if I give information that this person is doing this, you will not come after. You will not go and inform them so that they will not come after me. People should. These agencies should be able to earn the trust of people, and much more so, government also should ensure that they accede to the need and the agitation of people.
Thank you very much, Biniwa. Thank you, Silas. This is where we round up the show today for newspaper review segments of Inside Nigeria here at the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Bode Badebo. Make it with us next time. Thank you.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.